Here we are live together again on the radio, American Zombie. Like, say what's up, baby Bronson, man. First, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Peace and blessings. Brother Ali, always a pleasure, bro. Yes, always, bro. Always, always a pleasure to see you guys. Yeah, man. It always comes back to this, man. Always comes back to this. Always back at the, when you think about that pristine hospital room, that in a way it gets us to actually look at that as one of the better places to pass on, or it could happen on the spur of the moment. We do see those are that's an exciting way when you think about it. Somebody that didn't get a chance to make it to that building, that the the Tylenol white, the government white building, that hospitals, federal, it just has that feel. Would somebody want to pass in a hospital? Does it make it better to pass in a hospital? You think about it. It's like, why would it be better? What is this thing about? We have the body police. They got to get the body right. It's like these people are in charge of bodies. When you think about it, it's crazy. Divine Hazel, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Yeah, the body police, and you think about that because if something happens in society, who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters or something? No, they're going to call the cops. The cops are going to come if anybody sees a body and reports it. So they are the body police as well. They it's like you think about it, it's like a system, and in a way that system is effective, where everything from birth to death is managed. No other animal I don't see doing that to others. I mean, yeah, there is, I guess, farming. What was that? The toad that goes that helps the tarantula. It eats the mites and stuff. I think they also have like a little like worm snake that does that for birds' nest. These things that live in a relationship with another animal. That type of stuff might give us a good insight into what we see going on in our own societies, to say, what could it be? Yeah, passing on and it in home at hospice. I hear what you're saying, Brian. Yeah, I definitely hear you, bro. Brother Arabian, thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate it, man. Brother Ali says, I'm gonna call Harky, aka the Hype Police. Hey man, it's been so long since I've seen Harky, the Hype Police. That's exactly who he is, man. That's exactly, totally, totally who he is. I mean that yeah, it all goes back to passing away at home. Yeah, I would think that is better if home is that place. To have family around, to think about that moment of where you're going. That's why I titled the stream. It always comes back to this. This is what it comes back to, whether it's the hospital room, the bed at home, the accident in the car, knowing that life is, just going to be a couple of seconds more. That's it. Either getting crushed or bleeding out or something like that. That's some serious, to think about that. That's serious. I mean, people will watch a movie with horrors instead of thinking about a way that they might go that might not be the best way that they'd like to go, but contemplating that lets you become a little more mature with the fact that you're going to go. We're all going to go. And just to contemplate it might give us an insight into something that we don't notice right now, to think about it. When people say, oh, I don't want to think about it. Why not? Why not? It's something that might be, I would say, top three most important things. I mean, what was that saying? Two most important days of your life is the day you were born and the day you realize why. So that second day, You start to be like, man, life is a trip. It really is when you think about it. I I look back at it, always comes back to this. I look back at that anytime somebody's sick, right? And you could think back to any time that you were sick. The only thing you wanted was to get better. It was just one thing. Wasn't all this other stuff of aspirations disappeared. When we're sick, it always comes back to this. Always, always comes back to this. Brother Arabian, thank you for the support, brother. Brother Ali says, no one knows the time or the hour. Exactly, man. Exactly. My friend was telling me the other day, and he kind of put it out there quickly, said, yeah, we don't know where and we don't know when. We don't know how much time we have left. It could happen. It just, he doesn't think about it a lot, but he does realize, like, man, this is a trip, this thing that we're in. And funny enough, that word trip, it kind of is a trip. We're on a trip somewhere, but we don't know where we're going. And the amazing thing about the trip is that we get older on this trip. This is a really amazing trip when you think about life, the life that we've been given, I would say, or that we're experiencing. You know, how do we even know? Some people say, oh, well, we chose it. We chose it. One thing we know is that we don't know. So that's something that a lot of people I notice don't like to get comfortable with. The fact that we don't know. We don't know where we're going. And when we go there, we still might not know. Kind of like when we came here. You know, we came here, we still don't know where here is. We're trying to figure this out. I mean, this is a trip. It, you know, in many senses it is. The physical trip, the trip of going through time, you know, wow, I just looked at the thermometer. It is it's 7 degrees over here. This is crazy. Oh my goodness, this is crazy, man. Brother Ali says the unknown hour, aka the great Harkian. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, the great Harkonnen. Yep, exactly, man. That, and it can just happen. You think about, I think it was Red Fox, the actor who used to play Sanford and Son and used to do the heart attack thing. I think that's how they said he passed too. People didn't even know if he was playing the role, but he was actually passing. We just never know when. We think of some of the ways that people have gone. You know, imagine the people that they say have gone while they were in the middle of the act, you know, creating the beast with two backs. That's one heck of a way to go. It might be one of the better ways, I would think, you know, but that would kind of be morbid for the other person. It would be real morbid for something else, man. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what, I don't know about the reincarnation, you know. It just, that's a good one. As a closet so the dating coaches can. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that definitely, it's like, what is this? You know, what is this? We're definitely on our way. You know, we're definitely on our way. There's no doubt about it. We're on our way somewhere. People that we loved, cared about, aren't here anymore. Where are they? Are they here? Are they here in some form? That's the thing. Could we be more than just one thing? That's another thing too. I would think we're more than one thing. That just the physical and the non-physical together shows us that we're two things. Sometimes we use the language. We say, you know, a part of me says, you know, yep, this is it. The sane asylum, the psychiatric ward. This is it, man. Yeah. All the patients knew, and they would, wow, that's amazing. Wow. That is like, yeah, you know, we are in a type of the psych ward. There's no doubt about it. Might reincarnate as a dating course to continue feeding. Oh yeah, man. I tell you, bro. I tell you. And there's so much that has happened in that field. I mean, with the whole you know, Tate stuff. Let me just play this zombie clip so I can grab my coffee real quick.
The zombie spectrum contains 8 main categories, all of which are meant to control the mind of someone who is unaware. Today, we'll focus on the 7th category, which is politics. Only those who can see through the illusion will notice how politicians transform while speaking to other zombies. But most of the time, they'll be able to contain it and regain their composure without losing support from their zombies. This type of behavior can be seen taking place on both sides. Whether it's red or blue, the zombie always slips out.
Ask not what America will do for you.
The population of voters don't care because they're just as zombified as the creature they worship that lurks behind the podium. Once it regains composure, it's business as usual, and the parade continues to drain the intelligence of anyone who believes them.
Which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve.
Then, the political zombies will search to infect others that still have the ability to think, but logic and reason will make them retreat. This forces them to break character and reveal themselves for what they really are. This type of behavior can be traced back in part to the 5th category in the zombie spectrum, school, where students are forced to sit and listen until they become zombified by the teacher. And if we interview the parents, one may realize that they themselves are zombies in disguise. They can play the role, but if you're a survivor who knows where to look, you'll begin to notice what's hiding just beneath the surface. They push their children to follow zombified teachers until that final day of graduation approaches.
I finally graduated.
The modern-day graduate becomes someone devoid of critical thought, released into the wild to roam as just another zombie of society.
Nope. Got my coffee. Had to throw that on there for a second. Brother Arabian, man, thank you, brother, for the support, bro. I appreciate it, man. He says, shoot, I forgot to tell you, bro. Dirty Eddie just dissed you in one of his shorts called The 47 Laws of Sharp, and you were featured as an inkwell who rambles about women all the time. Oh, my goodness. I got to check that out, man. I definitely got to check that out. Wow, and one of his recent shorts, that is hilarious, man, that these guys still think about me. That is like, wow. Wow, Dirty Eddie is still trying to put me into stuff. That is just amazing, man. I tell you, that feel is, you know, it's, I think about it. If I were to, in the future, because I feel it's so volatile now with what has happened and what's going forward with people finding a partner, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough for some people. If they don't have like basically an arranged marriage or something, it ain't happening. And it makes you wonder too about that whole thing of the arranged marriage. Maybe it's not totally something that's new. Yeah, the internet has made it gone off the rails with the social media dating. But looking at it scientifically, we can see that you open up the choices to people. People are going to get picky real quick, real quick. It's something that it's just what it is. I mean, if we have choices that go beyond the limits that we see imposed upon us right now, that why wouldn't we choose something that we couldn't get right now that became available because of a situation of a type of inflation, which we do see in the dating market. I mean, we see it a lot. It's everywhere. The Tinder, the what was it before that? It was the Plenty of Fish, and people were like doing stuff on like the computer stuff. But once it went to the mobile app, once the mobile app dating came in, that's when the beginning of the end. I can't. This is just amazing, man. Wow, Dirty Eddie dissed me in one of his shorts. Wow, that is like so hilarious, man. The fact that, and I think Blaxican had came on and said Rolo mentioned me, I think, in an interview a few years ago on No Jumper, I think it was. Yeah, TikTok was the final nail. Yeah, it really, and people, I can understand that they just don't see it, or maybe they don't want to see it. It's kind of like just with life in general. I guess maybe because of what I've experienced, I'm kind of happy. I could experience some more, but when I look at what some people haven't even experienced in the dating field, it kind of, man, it would seem like greed if I wanted to go forward, because a lot of these guys just, they were just born into, I guess, the time and the space, and also the cards that they were dealt can be brutal. The cards that some people have been dealt are very brutal. So that's another thing right there, So, but yeah, dating and relationships, man. You're looking at another level. And it's sad because Dirty Eddie, he really tried to fake the funk. And I think his protege is No Fugazi, that podcast. I think that's his protege. Yeah. Just drinking the cough. Yeah. Fixing the mic for a second. I had another clip here. I don't know if this was a piece of the other one.
It begins with family. The zombie virus spreads like a mental illness from member to member during our most formative years. And if anyone escapes, there will always be friends to spread the infection of stupidity far beyond the walls of our homes. Junk food accompanies us on a journey of zombification that transforms many people.
Yeah, the junk food zombies, man, they are everywhere. They just Josiah says once TikTok took off, the TikTok, the what was the other one? The main one, Tinder. Tinder was like the main one, man. That just turned it into a whole different animal. I mean, we look at Tinder, and when people try to say, well, personality and stuff like that, it's like, really? It's like, has anybody ever read a biography on Tinder? Or they just looked at the person and swiped left or right? So just the way a common sense thing like that kind of wakes somebody up to possibly how shallow people can be or how shallow they themselves are. That's something a lot of people don't want to admit. They'll say they're waiting for the right person, but they don't realize that Mr. Right died a long time ago. He's in the grave right next to Prince Charming. The modern dating and relationship, yeah, it's brutal. I guess I must have made a dent in that field a lot more seriously than I thought. To where people are, for Dirty Eddie. Forged in the flesh, good to see. He says, how many times did they say there's a certain percentage of human DNA that's in our food that's not zombie? I don't know what it is. I think they're talking about little bits. Like there's been instances of tomato canneries, people losing fingers and stuff. Hair. If hair gets into the food, it would probably come up as human DNA. I know there was a McDonald's in Oklahoma. They had a story about it. I'm not exactly sure how deep it goes, but yeah. Mr. Right, aka Mr. Chad, who won't settle down. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I mean, yeah, the parasites, when you look at the parasites, they are, parasites, when somebody studies parasites, you start to wonder, having to clean the parasites out of your body is one thing. But the other thing is when you think of a life form that lives like that, and say, wow, there's a life form that lives off of people and animals. As a room, brother, thank you for the support, bro, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. I got the link pinned on the top of the chat if you want to hop on, or anybody else, I put it up there just to see, because with this topic, it always comes back to this. Always, people that have been in a hospital, dire straits, kind of know. I would think they would know more than most. When you're there, I mean, you're hoping to get released from the hospital. I don't think there's too many people that want to stay there. It's it has a coldness to it. And when I think about it, it's like, man, the hospital, you wonder. You really wonder. It's like, what are these things? I mean, the body police, it's like they want to own life and death when you're born and when you die. So it's like, when you think about that, you say, why? Why is it so important? Yeah. And you're right about that, Divine. Yep. Yep. Any jab for any reason. Yeah. They don't like to talk about magic potions and the problems that the magic potions could cause. I mean, there was people trying to say that the guy on Joe Rogan, I think it was Malone, who they say was one of the inventors or something. Then they try to say he's not one of the inventors. And, you know, it's funny how I see people argue the jab, meanwhile never doing real research. They'll say a researcher said something that they agree with, and that's good enough for them. Couldn't be that something's wrong with it. Couldn't be too early. But being that it's good enough for them, they think you should take it. That mentality, yeah. Yeah, most people, they don't even know what they're doing. But yet, they're so sure about knowing what they don't know that they're doing, that they're so sure that other people should listen to them too. Which is messed up when you think about it. It's like, man, it's like, why? That's that zombie mentality. That's that zombie mentality where a person thinks they've actually come to a point where they begin to believe their own crap that they spew for other people. It's one thing for a person to lie. It's a whole other thing when they begin to believe that lies. The lies they spew, when they begin to believe it, now you're in dangerous territory. Now you're in cognitive dissonance territory. A person who believes their lies is dangerous. That's the cop who thinks he's bringing justice by enforcing a politician's law, not doing what's right, but enforcing a law. I mean, we see with states that have legalized cannabis, cops that were lenient on people did the right thing because they didn't try to destroy somebody's life over a plant. And now it can be seen that they did the right thing. But the ones that didn't, the ones that would plant things on people and also blow things out of proportion, we see the problems that has with society. And in the middle of all those problems, remember, like the name of the stream, it always comes back to this. Always comes back to this. Always. Whether you're sick, you're on death's door, or something, health and time, they have like those are the two most important things. If you got health without time, well, that's it, right? You're healthy, but your time's up. If you got time without health, that's torture. That's literal torture. So time and health have some type of relationship there that you really want to have both of those. That's like a two thing deal. So okay, time and health together. The most important things. Or if we combine it, the most important thing. Time and health, basically. Azarun, what's up, man? How's everything?
Fine, MD.
Anything on your mind?
No, nothing. Like actually, when you said it, always comes back to this. What did you mean exactly, specifically, MD?
Well, it's like on the thumbnail has like a hospital room with a nice little bed. So
Okay.
anytime No matter what we do in our life, it always comes back to this. Always comes back to the moment when you're not feeling well. And the most important thing in that moment is getting better.
Correct, correct.
So it always comes back to this. It always comes back to the fact that we are we are going through something, lifetime, but no matter anything that happens, when we get sick, it always comes back to that being the most important thing, showing us that our health is of the utmost importance.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So it always comes back to this. Always. It just you cannot you can't yeah, you can't go beyond that. That's it always comes back to this. It always does. It has that thing where you know, it has that thing where we start to see, if we forget, there's a point where we're reminded that the health is the most important. Now we do see people that have the time without the health, and it is very torturous. It really is. It's health without the time is if somebody had to choose, I would choose health without the time. If they said, look, you can live 30 years, 30 more years, but they're not going to be healthy years, but you'll live 30 years. Or you can live 1 year of health, a healthy 1 year. I think I would choose the healthy 1 year because of seeing just how torturous life could be with any impediment upon health. I mean, health truly is wealth when we think about it.
Yeah.
That's why it always comes back to this. It always comes back to this.
But MD, to be purely, I mean, truly healthy, you'll actually have to stay away from so many forms of enjoyment. So you'll have to be very careful with your food, very careful with your sex life. Then you'll have to be very careful. If you work out too much, also when you sweat too much, the metabolic energy, the very source of that called O, just slips through the sweat. So working out too much also can shorten the lifespan and age the body. So it's very difficult to stay away from all these restrictions, MD. Most of the people can't do it.
Yeah, but also remember, we change our definition of a good time, of something that
Yeah,
because before what we thought was a good time, now we see isn't a good time. So
correct.
now we start to grow. We start to say, I don't miss it. I don't miss it because now, to me, I feel good when I eat good things now.
Yeah,
Before, people would eat things and it wouldn't be it would just be to get a high off of the food, an effect, a rush.
correct.
But with the other foods, you can eat and it nourishes the body, and you actually you start to experience life and say, oh, this thing that I ate is nourishing the body. You start to taste and start to analyze the taste of things, not just taste it and get a euphoric feeling like a pleasure sensor, and then you eat
Mm,
more and more. I mean, this when I look at it, just the existence thing, it's very odd. It's very odd when I look at it. People are there's so much different things going on when you just look at the way people are going through their daily life. Animals, people, just the environment itself. Yeah, it's fascinating. You start to marvel at just the animation of life. So
yeah,
that's a whole other thing in itself, to say, oh, okay, we do see that. We see that, this thing, this, life is going to go on regardless. And it can be tribal, we see, but then we also see how it can go on technological. Um, yeah, so Matt, good to see you, man. Always. No, it hasn't. I'm every day working on it a little. The Human Origins book it's a very touchy book. It's a new direction where people, especially with all the stuff going on that we see, we see a lot of stuff going on with politics and stuff. I think people were expecting that tomorrow is sports zombie day. It's just a total. Might do a stream on the sports zombie tomorrow. It's it that I think that's what a lot of people are waiting up to get into this sports zombie type of thing. Tomorrow is the biggest sports zombie day of the year in America. It is the Super Bowl, Zombie Bowl. Yeah, but tonight I was actually going to work on it a little. I didn't know how late I was going to go on the show here, but yeah, I do like to edit at night a little. I know it's better to edit in the day, but yeah, bro, it's been a while, man. Yeah, it's been a while, man. Yeah, yep, the battle of the halftime show. I'm glad. I'm glad. I hope all is well with you, bro. I definitely hope everything's going good. The whole origin thing, it brings us into why do we look different? Why are there different people in different areas? The environment, of course, has some effect on us, so we do see that. But I know a lot about this with Hinduism, like different ages, right?
Yeah. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. We're in the last Yuga where things of unrighteousness, where the nature of unrighteousness and evil rises to the highest level.
Is there anything else like the Upanishads, right? Does that mean listen closely, Upanishad?
Upanishads is a commentary on the Vedas. So the Vedas, it was so huge, it was infinite. So whatever Ved we have on the Vedas, the four Vedas, the Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda, they're just a small portion of the infinity of the Vedas that Veda Vyasa saw. And just to learn the small portion, you'll need billions of years. So each of his disciples got immortality just to learn a small portion of the whole thing. And the Upanishads is a commentary on this, that's all. An aspect of reality.
Yeah. Mr. X, what's up? Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hello, Mr.
Perfect.
X.
Good. I'm doing these other headphones. How you doing, Azvarun? Good to see you. Great topic, MD.
Yeah.
Great topic. We all want to know what happens in the end. And that's, hey, I don't care what, you believe. If you don't believe the afterlife, not anybody here, of course, but it's coming and you're going to find out whether you want to or not. So your philosophical views are kind of irrelevant, well, not irrelevant unless they're closest to what it points to, unless you're completely honest with yourself about what it points to. And it points to that this isn't the end. This is a stopping point. Temporary place. That's what it all points to. The fact that we're even asking this question says it's not the end.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a stopping point. You're right.
Yep. And like I've always said, I mean, based on what's been revealed to me, we existed before we came here. We existed for a very long time. Just don't remember.
The soul has no death,
before.
Mr. X. The soul is immortal.
But would you agree, Azvarun, that we were born in the soul? We weren't born in the physical?
The physical body is inside the soul, actually. It's not the other way around. They think the soul is inside the physical body, but the physical body is actually inside the soul. And
How do you figure that?
we have been sent to experience something humane over here. The soul has no gender also.
No, I agree. But I mean, the soul, the physical body is what our physical body is here on Earth.
It's called the Annamaya Kosha. We have 5 sheets. One is the physical body made up of food. then there's the energy body or the pranamaya kosha, then the manomaya kosha or the mind, then the vijnanamaya kosha or the body of knowledge, and then the anandamaya kosha, the body of bliss. So from where we came from, actually, the Parabrahma Loka, we'll always be vibrating in a state of bliss. So, like when God created the universe, He sent us to experience the diverse aspects of the various aspects of duality over here, and we have to go back to this Parabrahma Loka, or what the Christians call Yahweh, or the Father, Holy Father, or the Father in heaven. You
Oh,
have to
so you agree
become
with,
one with Him.
so that, okay, so you answered it. So you believe that we were born before this physical body
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Earth.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's all I'm saying. Yeah, which I know for a fact is true based on what's been revealed to me, you know. But that's, can't prove it though. I admit I cannot prove it. But at least I can share it and people can think what they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And the evolutionists, I mean, they get a little angry there, but they're, they can exercise that right. I mean, I don't see why somebody would get angry. Anger shows that something that the person believes in may not be correct.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I
yeah.
can tell in their voices they have doubt. I can tell in their voices. I really have a hard time believing they actually believe in what they say. It's obviously it's another agenda. It's an agenda against specifically religion, the Christian religion. I wish they just come out and say that, you know, then I'd respect them more, you know. But you can tell it's not really about believing so much in evolution. It's just whatever goes against the Bible is what they're in favor of.
Hmm.
That's not truth, though. That's not
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely there's a fear of reality. I've noticed. It's and the whole death, when you think about it, and this is the thing that I think people, either they have a cognitive dissonance, or they maybe they know and they're playing around, but it's just something that we don't know. No matter what anybody says that they experience in this life, when we really look at it rationally, it can't really explain death.
Exactly.
There's really no way to it's kind of like the Matrix. It's like you got to experience it. You can't tell anybody about it. There's just no way. And most likely there's no coming back. There are a few instances in historical documents of a few people coming back, but they were never the same. It's
Yeah.
like they were changed, so they really didn't come back the same. So it's, it makes you wonder, where is that place? What is the netherworld? What is, the gates, again, the gated communities of the afterlife, gates of Hades, the pearly gates of heaven.
But then should be they taken literally? I wonder if that was the context of the passage, to be taken absolutely literally, that they're gates, like they're physical gates, so what we perceive are gates, or they could be some other fourth dimensional type gate that
Yeah.
our minds can't perceive in this third dimension, but when we enter into the fourth dimension, we can perceive it. We'll perceive things totally differently.
Yeah, that is correct, Mr. X. I think hell and heaven exist, but it's not in a primitive sense like the way we've made, like up there is heaven over there. I think it exists in a dimension. It's like the multiverse is true, and it exists in one dimension of the multiverse, actually, heaven and hell. Like the way they show in Marvel and DC, I think that is a more accurate description of heaven and hell. The universe is vast. So there are all types of beings in this universe. So I 100% feel that hell and heaven are in a different dimension of this universe. It's not a primitive understanding of what we think, actually. Like you dig too much underneath, there's hell. That is too primitive, actually. Like that's not that like the deities that created hell and the beings that created heaven also, they're more sophisticated than our primitive thoughts, actually. In fact, whatever thoughts we're getting also are not ours, to be honest. Something is putting these thoughts into our head.
Could it be that other people are saying the thoughts, and that's what has people, I mean, I'm not sure BP is saying that the brain just plays the last program before it's over. I wonder, is it playing the program or is it streaming the consciousness? Is it streaming a consciousness that may not be able to be streamed and expressed in the way that we're expressing it right now? Like, sort of like if a radio is damaged or a television set or something like that, it's still getting the signal, but it's not able to express the signal it's receiving properly because maybe the connection from the radio to the speaker is damaged. Maybe there's some other type of interference. Looking at the radio television set receiver model for the body really gets deep because it shows us that it's one of the closest things when we compare it to the body and the mind and how we operate, to say, wow, this is pretty this could be a very realistic explanation that the body and the mind are receivers for the consciousness that come from where.
And he's assuming that the brain is what controls the mind through electrical signals, no different than a computer. And that's the naturalistic explanation, but that's not been proven scientifically
Yeah.
at
The
all. There's people
mind
who've been
has
in
a
comas. Oh, I'm sorry, Razvan,
correct,
but I was
correct.
going to say there's people who've been in comas where their whole body's been paralyzed, and they said that they could still hear their family members talking when they came to visit them. They could hear people around them talk, and they just couldn't move their mouth. It was
Yeah.
frozen. It was in
Mm.
a coma state, but they could understand everybody. That's been proven. You can see plenty of stories of like that. So, sorry, go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. X. Actually, like the thing is, the mind is a body of its own in which all the chakras are placed, or the energy centers. Consciousness lies somewhere hidden in the mind, actually. The brain is just a conduit for consciousness to express itself from the Manomaya Kosha, or the astral body. So, actually, like consciousness as an entity does not exist in the physical body. It's aware through the physical body, but it exists in the astral body, actually. It is the power of the soul.
I think the brain just controls our motor functions, personally.
Yeah,
I think it's
correct,
just another
correct.
organ that controls our motor functions through electrical
Yeah,
impulses. That's been proven
yeah,
scientifically. That I have no dispute about. But the mind, no, that has to be separate. It has to be
yeah,
separate. Otherwise, it's pre-wired. Everything we talk, all our thoughts right now are just a matter of our genetic lottery. We think the way we think because of the way our brains came out. And I don't agree with that. That's not conducive to reality. That's not in line with reality. That I have free will and I can change my opinions and thoughts. If we were just hardwired, we would just be hardwired to think one way and that's it.
correct.
Yeah, and AI would obviously take over because that's just ones and zeros, electrical impulses on and off, no different than the brain. So AI would take over. There's no need for the human race anymore. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right, Mr. X.
Mhm.
Yeah. It definitely yeah, when we look at the fact that they're trying to always reduce it to something mechanical, it brings up a red flag. It really does. Yeah, I don't think, and I can understand the brain does replay certain thing over and over, but the consciousness is so much more vast. It just there's so many more questions, and that's a good thing. That's the way science is supposed to work, where you gain more questions than answers. Um, yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff with the gates. When I think about it, what if it's like doors, like gates, doors in a lab? One might be the incinerator. Maybe that could have come to be looked at as hell. Maybe another is the freezer, heaven. Um, Also, there are, when you dig, huh? What do you say, Asmer?
No, I didn't say anything, MD.
And I don't know if this is true for like all of the digs that they tunnel really deep, that they say it gets hotter, I guess because they're getting closer or they're going deeper to something that's warmer. Now I would have to look into that to say, okay, why is it? Does it, is that the theory? I from what I've seen, it's the theory. of the mantle going down to a molten core, which is supposedly extremely hot, and that's where the lava comes up that comes through volcanoes. Now this is, it's deep to study this plate tectonics and stuff like that. But there again, it is a theory, and there are things that happen. The immediate zombie will say, well, it's more than a theory, it's a fact. They've proven this, and it's like, no, the theory is explained by what we see. So they're putting the theory, we're saying, yeah, you see this magma that comes up and then comes out of the volcano as lava. That comes from way down here. Now the theory comes in. Now the story comes in. Now the story could be partially accurate, or it could be fairy tale, like most of the scientific stories that come from the modern Western academia. It's always something that, if you're not thinking, can easily get you to believe in something that's absurd. And then you think about it and you say, wait a minute, that's stupid. Why would everybody, how come this has not been changed in so many years or decades or even more than a century? And we see it's because of biased authority. That's the only reason that evolution could have been taught in schools for 40 years with a blatant forgery known as Piltdown Man on display. I mean, 4 decades. That's going to influence people severely in the mind, to where they're going to believe that as fact almost. Well, not almost, they do. I remember Carl Sagan would say that evolution is a fact. And now I see what they're doing is they're starting to say that, oh, well, evolution means things change over time. And it's like, wow, they are changing the definition of adaptation, something changing over time, something adapting to the environment over time is now called evolution. Just the way homology, like similarity in structure. So like the way a bird's wing can be similar to a human's hand. You can see the bones, the structure of a bat's wing. The structure of a foot is similar to the foot of other animals. Homology is the word used to define that, to say similarities, appendages, similarity in appendages. And it was a loose kind of definition, like saying, yeah, this is homology. So we see that there are animals with similar structures. Now they've changed that to animals with similar structures that lead to a common ancestor. Mm-hmm. So that part of putting in that lead to a common ancestor automatically puts in the evolution religion again. Mr. X, you there?
Yeah, I wanted to say one thing. Like you look at humans, their mutations, like say Siamese twins, people who are joined together, or people born with 6 fingers, or that's the same argument that someone can say, oh, that's evolution. He's evolving into a higher order, having 2 heads. No, it's a mutation. And all these other animals, that's all it is too. It's a mutation. It's not an evolution. It's not going into a separate species. Like the Siamese twin is still a human. He just has a mutation from the norm. That's not evolution. They twist the thing so much, it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
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 Like the fish without the eyes. Still a fish.
Yeah.
Show how it can become a lizard or how it become a lion. Show that. And show the transitional species too, by the way, which they can never find. You figure these bones would be everywhere, but there's not one.
Also, they don't realize that the fish can lose genetic material to prevent it from getting infected and stuff. So to say, okay, at this point, it's not needed. It's kind of like we do see that with and it's not evolution. It's actually like a loss of genetic material that they say can't be regained. So like there are certain things like animals that might lose long fur and now only have short fur genes, but they can't get back the long fur genes. So there's certain instances in certain situations similar to that, to where we see where the loss of function, like sickle cell anemia, the humans in that area of Africa developed the blood adapted. It will could also be said that it mutated, right? Now, some might try to say, oh, it evolved, but evolved isn't really the proper word for that. It's to say, no, the malaria, the blood was saying, look, if, or the bodies, it adapted not randomly either. So it wasn't like, see, and that's the thing with evolution. They'll say, oh, the malaria was attacking it, and over thousands or tens of thousands or millions of years, they evolved to develop immunity. And it's like they didn't evolve to develop immunity. That's not by chance. The body somehow has an intelligence that figured out that, look, this malaria is killing people off, and if it doesn't adapt somehow, the blood, specifically the blood cells, the shape of them, so the malaria, if I understand it correctly, can't, it makes it harder for it to dock and infect the blood cells. So now these people would, in theory, be immune to malaria, and it would be something that developed in the body. Now, the evolutionists will say, oh, it developed by chance, right? And it's like directly in response to the malaria, we see this development, just the way we see skin get tan directly in response to the sun. It's not tanning by chance, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
So like somebody's in the sun. Yeah, it's like and that's basically what evolution, would try to say, is that okay? So the people that tanned in the sun didn't get as much sunburn. So by chance, that happened, the tanning process. But we see that it doesn't. That we see that it is in direct relation to the amount of solar radiation and the amount of melanin a person has in their skin. It's in direct relation to those two things. So that is not by chance. They'll try to say that those two situations occurred by chance. The melanin in the skin just developed by chance, and the solar radiation environment. That's the other thing too. A lot of people forget that they're saying that the environment, everything, is just by chance. It's like, just look at that, and guess what? There's other ones like it too. When we tell you that they exist, that's when you'll know they exist. I mean, the more I look at it, and I loved looking at space and, had telescopes and stuff that I myself bought when I was in my late 20s. I remember looking through it when I was a kid, but it wasn't really, they weren't that good telescopes. I did see stuff, but when I got better telescopes, that's when, I was like, wow. Now, I'm surprised that more study isn't being done, like independent study. But the real study that, it's good to know about outer space, the sky and everything. But the real study is when you look at Earth, when you look at the ocean. I mean, we've only have like I mean, it's such a small amount of the ocean has been mapped and explored. And they say that, oh, the moon has been 100% mapped. How is that? How realistic is it for somebody to tell me that they totally mapped, 100% mapped the moon, but that they only have 20%, if that, of Earth's ocean mapped? Like, how believable is that? One or the other has to be, or both has to be a lie. I don't think both are true. I don't know what you think about that, but when you just somebody telling me that, it's like, wait a second. So you're telling me that they mapped the entire moon, and I got to just believe that what they put on this map is true, that it actually exists, and that the Earth right here that we're on, that you can just walk into the ocean, drive a underwater vehicle, and study it, where you don't have to blast something off in a rocket, past the speed of sound and all of that stuff. You can do this stuff right here, and they don't have this mapped.
It's like they're hiding something. That's what I
Right?
feel like. They're hiding something from us on
Totally.
this earth that exists, that's real, and they're in contact with at the highest levels, and it's kept secret. I really believe that. I mean, it goes back to all these ancient structures that existed. Some would theorize before the big flood, before the great flood, which every culture believes happened across the world. That this race, this entities or these beings are still here, underground or wherever, in other bases, and they don't want you knowing about it. Just
Absolutely right, man.
yeah,
Secrets on top of secrets. Vegan skeptic. Good to see you, man. If you want to hop on, we got the link pinned to the top of the chat, brother. Always a pleasure having you. Yeah, and there are some underwater. I've heard of the underwater spaceship. Yeah,
I've heard of that too.
I think
Yeah,
they call them USO, unidentified submerged objects or
a
something.
lot of them come out of Puerto Rico, believe it or not, because they have the Mariana Trench. I think is what the deepest part in the ocean. One of the deep. I think it said it was the deepest. The
Yeah, no, I
Mariana
think that's
Trench.
over by the Marianas, over by Japan, right?
I thought it was Puerto Rico.
Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines. What's
Mariana
that
Trench.
trench? What's the trench near Puerto Rico in the Caribbean islands? It's very deep.
I thought it was
Uh,
near the triangle.
No, that's the Bermuda Triangle. I'll look up the trench. I'll look it up.
Let me see the
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico Trench.
The
What is the
deepest point in
trench
the
by?
Atlantic Ocean. Oh, in the
It
Atlantic.
says that it's a deep oceanic subduction zone that runs parallel with the northern coast of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. The deepest place is approximately 8,400 meters. Wow. So
There's been heavy
you're
amounts
looking at
of
24,000 feet.
UFO.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
24,000 feet. It's about 100 miles from Puerto Rico, they're saying. Wow, I didn't even know
The
about that,
Puerto Rico
man.
Trench. UFO activity has been documented there. Lots of UFO activity going into the water
That's
there.
pretty deep. And then there's the Cayman Trench or Barlett Trough, and that's a massive 1,000-mile long submarine valley in the Western Caribbean Sea, running between southeastern Cuba and Jamaica. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. That's crazy, man. And you just think of the stuff there. See, the amount of civilization that they would find, I would think, from,
Hmm.
if the water levels were a lot lower, you're going to find settlements that were inundated, that were coastline settlements.
Yes.
And, they have that in Egypt, you can see videos, but they don't allow any archaeology.
And why is
So,
that?
yeah, exactly. Why is that?
Yep.
It tells you right there. It tells you right there the fact that somebody will try to push evolution and say, well, wait a second, we're not even allowed to search for the truth, but you're telling me I'm supposed to believe what you're saying about evolution?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Well,
crazy.
just believe we came from monkeys. That's it. Keep quiet about it. And if you don't believe it, then you're stupid. That's exactly what they say. You know, they insult you if you don't believe it. Like, oh, you're uneducated. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
like you should have learned that in high school. Like high school is going to teach you all the truth. Come on, give me a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah.
You know.
No, well, I mean, I look at it as there's definitely high technology. There's no doubt about it. Like if a lot of it could just be, I would say, I don't see why technology like underwater submerged, unidentified submerged objects or UFOs, why they wouldn't be government, and also why, if they were advanced life forms right here on Earth that created humans, possibly, or are monitoring humans, that's not such a big leap.
No, it's not. It really
Yeah,
isn't.
yeah, it's not a big leap. And the evolutionists, see, that's the thing. They'll make it seem like, oh my goodness, that's so unscientific. And just thinking about the way the peer pressure from
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, to say, wow.
But
So
life coming from non-life is scientific, even though it's never been
exactly.
proven. They just gave it a name called
Yeah, yeah,
abiogenesis, but it's never been proven.
yeah.
But believe
But
it. You know.
putting consciousness, and this is the logic thing, that when a person can't even get through this part of the logical reality of the premise of the conversation, is to say, okay, so making something like a spoon or a skateboard that doesn't have consciousness, that, would you agree that that is easier to make than something that has consciousness? Like even if it's a lizard, or if it's a bacteria, or if it's a salamander or something with consciousness, something like a bacteria, even, that actually shows that it has a purpose. It wants to breed, it wants to procreate, it wants to continue, eat, and survive. Is that harder to create than it is to create a skateboard or a spoon or silverware or a cup or a glass? Now, of course, the thinking person, or the person who really wants to learn, will think and say, well, yeah, of course it's easier to make an inanimate object, because you don't have to we don't know what the animation is of life. So we can make something, but we can't give it that spark. And that's what the whole Dr. Frankenstein thing, trying to create something living from something non-living, kind of like how you were saying, in a way, you can't get a mind from something that isn't a mind.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
yeah.
That skateboard required a mind to design it. So why is it such a far leap to think that we were created by a mind? It's actually pointing more to that type of evidence. I just go where the evidence leads, whether I like it or not. But they won't do that. No, the skateboard had to be created by a mind, but no, which are far more complex, we just by chance, it just happened. And I actually asked this question on Taco's channel last night. His answer was, well, evolution. Through the evolutionary process, we develop minds. I said, that's your belief. That's not scientific at all. You know, nothing you
Well,
just said is scientific in any way, shape, or form.
think about the complexity of that. So the complexity, to create everything that they say, to eventually create a mind that sits inside of a human body and other different types of beings, that they're saying is it's got to be one or the other. It's to say, okay, are they saying that that is less? Well, basically, in a way, they are saying that that is less hard than creating a skateboard over
Exactly.
13 billion years.
Exactly.
Because,
And
and the
they're also
reason,
professing their belief too. It just happened as a miracle too.
yeah,
That's what they're
well,
preaching.
also, I would say in defense that if somebody were to say, well, how? And I would say, well, the fact that we exist and they're going to explain it as chance, but there's no skateboards that have been created by chance. That's showing us that the skateboard is harder to be created by chance than it is a conscious living, not just human being, but all of these life forms. So just the thought of thinking of inanimate objects forming by chance that we see clearly don't form by chance, not even similar. You know, you might look at something and say it looks similar, but it doesn't look like a spoon, or not even like a part to something. You know, you look at you just look at regular stuff that's manufactured and you say, okay, I don't see a way that this could be in nature. There are some things like those hexagonal forming rocks and the tubes and stuff. You know, you have like certain types of rocks, basalt, and certain things that will form and look kind of like, if, you know, parts of them will be very flat. But if a person sees the way they're formed, they could, oh, okay, that's how it's made. So, and that's another thing too, observing how nature can create certain things. Because if you look at the way crystals grow and stuff like that, it's amazing. I mean, gigantic crystals in Mexico and stuff like that. Are you there? Oh.
Yeah, it's just that, like, for for everything they given a scientific explanation, but the scientific community over here, when it comes to evolution, they're like, I don't know why they're so adamant about it. Richard Dawkins, the professor, he defends evolution very strongly, and it's like as if he's very strongly in, he believes it more than it having any solid evidence with regards to us understanding how it really happened actually.
And who is this Professor who again?
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah,
He's an
he's kind
atheist,
of, yeah. I mean,
world famous.
yeah, right. Where's that, mistakes?
No, he's a world famous atheist. But I just want to add one more thing. When I go on the Tacos channel, and I listen to them sometimes, and they think abortion's great. See, this is the idiocy of evolutionists. They think, okay, because they're so stupid, they think because in their minds it's not a human being inside the woman's stomach, or where she's having the baby, and it's okay to kill that, but it is killing a baby. It is, and if it was up to these guys, they'd have 9-month abortions. You know what I'm saying? It's a human being inside there, but because of their stupidity and their evolutionary beliefs that they want to believe in, they think it's not a human. Why? Because you can't see it? Because it's inside the belly? That's stupid. So this is what it leads to. You know, the acceptance of killing your offspring, that it's just a pile of mush. It's not real. You know, this is the reality of the world we live in. A lot of women nowadays, they treat it as birth control, but it's the killing of a life. It really is what it is.
You got to remember that the pill, man, that has dropped Like, I think they're saying it dropped the sperm count like 50% or something.
Mm. Wow. Yeah.
That's serious stuff. Let me see how much. The male sperm count dropped.
And what's crazy is they can't put two and two together because the pharmaceutical industry needs that fetal tissue for their research and the development of vaccines and drugs. So it's like
Yeah,
they're getting played like it's ridiculous, you know? The propaganda is off the charts and they just buy it up and eat it up like it's real
Mm-hmm.
science, you know?
uh, MD,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can you just excuse me for 10 minutes? I need to charge my phone and come back.
Sure, man. Take your time, bro.
Okay, okay. I'll come back within 10 minutes.
Yeah. It says here a 2017 study, right? It's a meta-analysis led by Hagi Levine from the Hebrew University reported decreases in sperm concentration of 52%. And then sperm count of 59% too, from 1973 to 2011 in Western countries, Australia, New Zealand.
Living proof of that because I've been on the Lupron. It takes away all my testosterone, and it's a real thing. It's real science. They could take away your sex drive and your testosterone and your sperm count. I'm living proof of that because I'm on these injections at least for another year, and believe me, it's real. So the science is there. If anybody has any doubts at all, they can't do that. Oh no, they can do that very easily. It's far more easy than you think. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, I think people underestimate or just are uneducated about how vital hormones play in our mental health and our physical health. They just
Yeah.
don't realize how serious it is. But they know. They know at the top. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh yeah.
consuming
I
all
mean,
this
the fact that
sugar.
it's allowed in the water.
Hmm. Yeah, reducing sperm count could be easily done. Easily done.
I mean,
Yeah.
Divine's right. Parasites do play a part.
Hmm. It's true.
Yeah, those underground crystal caves are amazing. Wow, Arkansas. Yeah, because I saw a thing with Mexico, but yeah, I would rather check them out in Arkansas. That'd be cool. Yeah,
Underground cave, crystal caves. I have to look that up. I
yeah,
don't
the
know about
crystal
that.
caves. The crystals are like gigantic. It's almost
Hmm.
unreal if you ever look it up.
I'm definitely going to.
And Divine Hazel saying the biggest ones are in Arkansas, which is great. Yeah, I don't know if that's quartz or amethyst. You know, I've seen the ones I've seen from Mexico, the pictures look like quartz. The quartz. And then the ones from yeah, I gotta look up the Arkansas one. Let me look that up.
Look it up too.
Arkansas. Huh? Giant crystal cave. Oh yeah. Holy smokes. Looks like quartz. Looks
Wow.
like gigantic quartz. Yeah, like
Yeah.
holy. Oh, so this, yeah, because I've seen ones. I thought it was Mexico.
Hmm.
Wow.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
There are some in
Arkansas.
Mexico too. There's a Mexico giant crystal cave too. So I guess
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a,
Mhm.
but this one is like closer. It's in the good old USA. Hmm. Wow. This is really deep. This is really deep. Divine. Divine coming through with the knowledge. Thank you, Divine. Hazel.
Mm,
Quartz, they are amplifiers for our underground counterparts. Yeah. Yeah. It has
good point. Good point.
yeah, minerals and gems. Wow, that is so cool. My friend Al, he owns a stone shop. He has like a crystal shop. Matter of fact, there's a video on YouTube about it where I did some research on quartz vases, ancient quartz vases in the museum in Manhattan of the Metropolitan Museum. And it's amazing. Yeah, you're right. It is really amazing. The crystals, I mean, the hardness. People don't realize, like when I was working with them in his shop, he would make like jewelry, and to cut through or drill through the quartz, you need like some serious diamond tip tools, like drills. And even then, it takes a while because quartz is like a seven. You know, it's very hard. It's harder than steel.
Wow. I know
So
that.
yeah, you know, it's really like holy smokes. So to see these vases carved from them, you know, and then also these big domes and stuff here in Arkansas, these caves that these are amazing. These are really, really amazing. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I would like to visit these, being that it's in privately owned cave. I gotta make sure if I go see this, it's not going into no deliverance type of thing, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it says Mount Ida. Because see, this is deep. This is deep. You know, and then you got the geologists, the evolutionists will come in and tell you it took millions of years for it to form, right?
Yeah. And it's a zombie. That's all he is. Is a zombie. That's how I look at him. That's why I don't take him seriously when I talk to them. I just don't. If you go on that show to debate after you finish your book, don't take him seriously. Just
Yeah,
promise me you won't take him seriously,
yeah,
and you'll be fine. You'll
yeah,
be fine.
yeah. Honestly, yeah, I'm not even sure if it would even be worth talking with them about it because it's sort of like just saying, look, um, this is this is what uh, people people are going to believe what they want to believe, and
Yeah, but you should promote your book, though. It's just another platform to promote your work, to promote your book, promote
yeah,
your
yeah.
findings, and don't
Well,
take them
you know,
seriously as serious debaters because they're
to
not.
show to show trying to think, I would talk with them.
But what you definitely want to do is a bloodbath. I mean, a one-on-one, because then nobody can mute you, nobody can interrupt you. You'll be able to speak freely. You'll have a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
I
time.
think they have the thing where somebody had donated
two
uh
dollars to mute you.
$2 to mute me.
But when you do a debate, like a
And
one-on-one debate, they call it a bloodbath, then nobody can mute you.
yeah, I just left. I was like, you know, who
Yeah.
cares?
No, but if you do a debate, they can't mute you, and you'll be able to speak as long as you want to. And I would just use that. That's a good opportunity just to promote your work.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
you know, when I present it, people, you know, first, you know, of course, they're going to be like, okay, so you're saying that we're created in a way that's like a shielded environment,
Hmm.
something protected in a way that,
Sure.
um, you know, if you look at the human organism, if you look at life in general, see, that's the whole thing. They want us
Right.
to think that it was just created somehow outside when they try to recreate it. What do? They try to recreate it in a lab.
And
So what
they
I've
failed at it
noticed,
too. The Miller-Urey experiment is a complete failure. You know, I think that's
yeah,
what it was
those
called.
experiments,
Hmm.
Yeah, they don't like to really talk about the just it's kind of like just the common sense of it. When you
Right.
say, wait a second, you're trying to do origins of life research or abiogenesis to show how life randomly started by creating it in a laboratory.
Yeah.
So what you're showing me is how life could have been created in a laboratory. That's what you're showing me.
Yeah. Which still correct, implies a mind.
Exactly. Well, it just shows me that okay, it needs to have an indoor environment. That's what you're really proving.
Yeah. And
That's
also,
what you're really proving because even saying that the Earth's earlier atmosphere is what they're trying to say it is, to say, oh, according to these rocks and stuff, this is how the atmosphere was. It's like, really? So it couldn't be, you couldn't have you know, didn't account for something, or you couldn't have made a mistake, right? Like we've always seen
mhm,
mistake after mistake after mistake. And thank goodness that some mistakes are corrected. In technical science, you have to correct them because if you don't, the plane won't fly. So you have to correct the technical science ones. In theoretical science, that's where you get the bull crap. That's where you get Michio Kaku and all these dudes.
yeah. And I think it was I'm looking it up right now, the amino acid synthesis. But I believe that the amino acids got oxidized. So if anything, they weren't able to replicate it. They weren't able to do that. But I think one thing it found that all these all the particles, my general understanding, had to come about instantaneously together at the same time. That if there was a break in, it wouldn't work, basically. So the building blocks of life, such as amino acids, could form spontaneously from inorganic precursors under Earth conditions thought to be resembles those of early Earth. Yeah, but it didn't work. I know it didn't work.
I think even if you just look at like if you just look at the math and you
Hmm.
say, okay, what's the math of of a 30 chain amino acid forming a protein? And you type it into a calculator, the formula, 10
Hmm.
to the 40th. So I think 10 to the 10th is a trillion. So 10 to the 30th, let's say. Give it a little bit of a break. That's a ridiculously big number. Well, it's actually small because it's actually 10 to the negative 44th in some equations, which
Hmm.
is so astronomically small it's almost equivalent to zero. So in other words, it's like saying that ain't gonna happen. Nothing
Yeah.
is impossible, but there are things that are improbable. So you're not going to roll a dice 1,000 times. And if you could you roll it 1,000,000 times? Could you roll it 1,000,000,000 times? No, it's not probable. And especially when you increase, when you make it harder, when you say, okay, I'm going to change the rules, you can't get a 6 and a 1, you can't get a 5 and a 2, you have to get a 4 and a 3. So the 7 that you have to roll with the dice has to be that combination.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. Yeah, yeah. And I think I'm looking it up, carbon dioxide and nitrogen uh, didn't really produce any significant amounts of amino acids, and they also had to get rid of oxygen. So they say the Earth had no oxygen, and that's how
Yeah.
they put it. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's just, and
Well,
it still didn't work, of course.
I think the psychology of it has people saying, oh my goodness, if they can prove that evolution is true. And honestly, that's how a lot of zombies think.
Well, some people even quote the Miller experiments as proof, even though it failed. They quote it as proof. They're that blinded to it.
Yeah, yeah. That's the Aaron and all of them guys.
Yeah. Even though they failed at producing any amino acids, life from non-life, they still say it worked. So that's
Those are
ridiculous.
the people that are sitting at at Cape Canaveral cheering on the moon mission.
Right.
Those are those exact people.
Why the astronauts play golf on the moon. Go
Yep,
figure, back in
exactly. They're like, look,
1960s.
that's great. They're like, how American can you get?
Hmm.
How much more American can you get than spending tax dollars to play golf?
Yep.
Mark, good to see you, man.
Well, people can't afford rent or food. Go figure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. It's like you think about what just the fact that they play golf. I mean, how much more does that throw it into people's faces?
Yeah.
It's like you
There's no,
really think that they packed up golf equipment and went to the freaking moon.
exactly. And then the minute they land on the moon, like, hey, let's play some golf. Oh, because like they've been there a million times, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You figure the first time you ever entered someplace outside of Earth's atmosphere, and basically a moon in the solar system, you might be a little odd or inspired to look around or something. No, you want to play some golf. It's like it's a big joke. It really is. I have no doubt that Kubrick made the filming of that moon landing. Now I really have no doubt. You know, that was on some backlot Hollywood studio, or maybe in London. Who knows? Maybe they did it in London. I know Kubrick was mostly worked out of London, but there's no question about it. And we've never been back since. Go figure that one.
The fact that nobody really cares, and it's only a few of us, it is like a zombie movie.
It is, 100%. And during the next election cycle, people get all zombified and get hyped up for their candidate who thinks is going to change the world. And there'll be fights and arguments in the streets about it with the zombies. One side red, one side blue. Real simple. They make it real simple. Red or blue. This or that. Either or. You know? They don't want to complicate the zombies too much.
Yeah, and they are sure. I mean, some of the zombie debates with the red and the blue are hilarious,
Yeah.
especially like the social media ones. I mean, yeah, very, very, very crazy.
I mean, if anything, the new president that we have should show you that how much of a show this really is. Because that's all this guy does is put on a show every day. That's all he does.
What's he just stream 24/7 a day?
Something like that. Yeah. Now this new controversy. I haven't seen the video of him laughing at the Obamas or something like that. Oh, give me a break. Those two were at the Pope's funeral. He was there laughing with Obama in the audience. They're sitting next to each other. You can see a picture of them smiling and laughing with each other.
Hmm.
Like they're real enemies. Come on. You know?
Hmm.
It's just to get people riled up. It's a big soap opera.
Wow,
It really is. You know?
that is crazy. That is like it's the circus, the bread and circus, and tomorrow is circus day, man.
Oh yeah, the big one.
I'm thinking of doing sports zombie. I'm not sure.
Probably appropriate. We got the Super Bowl coming in. I'll admit I'm a bit of a zombie myself because I'll probably be watching it, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know who is it, the Patriots or something?
Patriots in Seattle. Yeah. And now they got sports betting all across the country. Legalized it. So,
Yeah, I know Drew. He bets on it hard.
oh yeah, some people are going to be making some hard bets tomorrow. That's for sure. Yep.
Yeah, he was telling me he bets throughout the year. He says some year he said it could be like, yeah, like 10 grand.
Wow.
And that's a
Yeah.
lot. I think he got it down to a science or something.
Well, that's what
But
they all
you
claim,
know,
though. They all,
you know,
all the big bettors claim they got it down to a science.
I'm not
You
sure
know,
if anybody ever really comes out ahead.
very few, very few. You know, and
Yeah,
it's an
yeah, there
addiction
might be a
issue.
few, but yeah, very few.
A lot of times they're just addicted. They're addicted to gambling. They're addicted to the thrill of it. You know.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. And they'll claim it's a science. It's just a cope. You know. That's what it is.
Yeah, because it's some of it it's like really hard. I mean, when I look at that, it's like almost as hard as horse racing. It's like you got to be doing some type of like studying on like I could see how it can get addictive, but
Sure.
it takes a lot of work. It does take a lot of work because you have to like know certain things, like especially the people that do the horse racing stuff.
Well, you're betting on a bouncing ball too. Let's never forget that. A
Yeah,
bouncing ball at the end, and anything could happen with a bouncing ball. Go one way
exactly.
or the other, and
That's actually a good way of putting it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. I've seen that. I'm glad I just never, I'd rather just pay for something, even
Hmm.
though sometimes you pay for it and you realize you wasted the money, you get buyer's remorse, but it's bad, but I don't know if it's as bad as gambler's remorse when you
No, the
lose.
gambler's remorse is way
Yeah.
worse because you have nothing to show for it. At least if you went out and bought something with it, you have something to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have nothing to show for it, it's like you threw the money in the air.
Hmm.
Basically, that's what it feels like when you lose. Like it just took you know, your whole paycheck and threw it in the air. Say, hey, go grab it. Yeah. I, I've never gone gambling to the point where, I couldn't afford rent or anything like that. I've always gambled within a certain budget, and I always try to treat it as entertainment. But even a certain amount, it would just bother me. It's like, wait a minute, that was too much money to lose, you know?
Yeah.
And we're not talking thousands or anything like that. Let's say 200 or 300 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
Hmm.
I could have bought a cologne with that. I could have bought a jacket. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. No, no, no. I can't do that. I can't spend that kind of money on gambling. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
100 bucks, okay, every few months, that's fine. That's my throwaway money. If I get lucky, great. But if I don't, I don't. But some of the people I've talked to them a lot. I know a lot of people. They get addicted. They're completely addicted, and it's not even about winning most of the time. It's just about playing, and they don't know it. They're addicted to the rush that they get. They don't even realize it. They think they're there to win, but they're really not. The
Hmm.
zombies are all around us. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, they're definitely everywhere, man. That's anytime, and I noticed that the whole see, just thinking people don't realize the threat of the evolution religion because it's that they don't know they're religious. The religious people, okay, fine. There are some lunatics, Jim Jones level we have seen throughout history. There's no doubt about that.
Hmm.
Recorded, documented, but they know they're religious. It's not like they're saying, well, what do you mean religious? We're not religious. We just, no, they're openly occult, Heaven's Gate, all of that stuff. With evolution, they're in denial. With
Yes.
the moon mission thing, that's almost a cult. The people that believe that that believe the official story. You have
Hmm.
both sides, now I look at it like, well, I know we didn't go to the moon. uh, they're saying astronauts went to the moon. The citizen didn't go, so they're saying, okay, these guys went, and they went there and they played golf. And I'm supposed to believe this. And why? why do they want me to believe this? Like, I really don't think they care. But why?
Hmm.
Why would they? Because it seems like they do, but in some instances, it seems like they don't.
I mean, I guess it's just to keep the public happy because they're going to do what they want to, no matter what the public wants. So I don't believe there's any. They're afraid of any rebellion from the people. I don't agree
Exactly.
with that. I think that's a.
Exactly.
We've had that before. People saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, the people rebel." No, they won't. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at the zombies. They're not rebelling anything. You
Exactly.
know? Yeah. I think it's just they want to keep people in a certain state for whatever reason. Maybe to sell goods and services. That could be it. Look at all the TV shows that came out.
Well,
They went to
goods
the
and
moon and Star Trek
services,
comes out.
it got to be more than that. Maybe like an experiment. It's got to be more
Possibly.
than just selling.
They want
I
people to
mean,
spend money. I think that's probably it. They want people to work because they need people to
with
work.
good
And
with all of this coercion and
mhm.
pushing people just for goods and just to sell, it makes you wonder, well, why don't they just take it then?
Well, because uh, that's the thing. I think because they can print more money, but there's a limit. That's one thing they can't destroy is so much money circulating, and it'll kill the value of the dollar. They know they have to keep a certain amount in circulation in order to maintain the wealth.
What about the gun and the monopoly on violence that some people talk about
Right.
being the the way that they enforce the value of the dollar,
Oh,
not
of
the gold?
course. No, of course. There's no question about it. They have to be on the dollar has to be the reserve currency throughout the
Because
world.
it really seems like that's behind the scene.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
monster, the electronic monster that's here.
Hmm.
Everybody's hooked up to it.
But they need people to innovate, to work, and society has to change. It can't stay stagnant. Like you look at these communist countries, and look at Cuba with the cars from the 50s. That's what happens when things don't progress.
Mm.
Buildings fall apart. The structure doesn't maintain. A structure needs to be maintained in order
Yeah,
to
but
operate.
how about just maintaining it instead of, if they would have just maintained it, you think it would have been better or no?
It needs innovation. I think it does. It needs to change. Uh, you look at all the pollution that we've had in the past. I mean, we have a lot now, but um, there's always a flaw in the system, I guess is what I'm saying. They're not perfect either. They make
Yeah.
flaws, and things have to be corrected.
Well, I think Trump cut funding on EPA or something like that. Like they were saying, like he reduced EPA stuff for the environmental.
Hmm.
So now we should have more, but I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and also weapons, they need to be innovative. We can't use the musket like we did in the Civil War, Um, you know, that's another
Mhm.
plays another part. Weaponry is going to change dramatically,
Oh
especially with
yeah.
this AI revolution. Is
Oh
it going
yeah.
to be missiles still, or is it going to be something else?
Drones. It's drones already.
Yeah. And what
I
would they be
mean,
dropping? Will they dropping bombs or will they be dropping diseases?
have you seen the China drone shows at night?
No, I haven't seen
Like
them.
the
I
videos, they have videos of the Chinese drones at nighttime with like, it almost looks like fireworks, but it's drones.
wow.
And it's like, I mean, it's freaking amazing. And to see that, it's kind of like just, it's a beautiful art, but it's disguised showing military prowess. Because if the drones can do that, I can imagine what they can do if they were armed.
Actually, yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I was shocked at how modern China looks in certain parts. It looks like such a
Yeah.
modern city,
Oh,
far more than America,
extremely.
far more modern.
Extremely. The
Yeah.
largest city, I think the largest city in the world used to be Hong Kong.
Hmm.
If it might still be.
That's built on rock, isn't it? Just built on rock. It's a rock island. I can't remember.
Hong Kong?
Yeah. And it was a British colony for a long time. That's why it stayed capitalist. But it's like, but yeah, they're very innovative. What they have in China is unbelievable. Like, I wouldn't mind taking it. That's one place I wouldn't mind taking a trip to see. Also,
They're saying it's a municipality,
hmm
a Chinese municipality called Chongqing, or something like that.
yeah, I know the British lost control of it in this 20th century. I can't remember when, but it was
Oh yeah,
not that
China,
long ago.
China. Yeah, they weren't having it, man. British ran up in it. They're saying Tokyo. Tokyo's up there. And Delhi. Tokyo 37 million, Delhi with 35 to 37. And Shanghai with 31. Shanghai trying to come in there.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
really modernizing their cities, the airports, the buildings. It's unbelievable. Ever since they've introduced capitalism into their society, and it's only in pockets, I guess, is what they say, but they've really made leaps and bounds. I mean, I was shocked at how innovative everything is there.
Wow. Shanghai. Have you been over to China or no?
No, no, I haven't. I'd love to go. I'd love to go, maybe on a
China.
cruise or something like that.
Yeah, that might be the spot, man.
Yeah.
Tokyo. Yeah.
Oh, that too. I'd love to see Japan.
Oh yeah.
Love to see
Oh yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, it's got some stuff over there.
hmm
Yeah, looking through it. That Arkansas thing that Divine Hazel was talking about, that thing is looking kind of all right. I don't know if you looked through that.
I saw some of the pictures. Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, the Crystal Caves in Arkansas.
Yeah.
That is definitely looking cool. That is definitely looking cool. Crystal Caves in Arkansas. Oh, yeah. Often cited as the largest privately owned cave featuring, among others, the witch's bathtub,
Wow.
quartz hunting, the Mount Ida area, especially Avant mining, is famous for massive quartz pockets, and other options include Crystal River Cave and Cave City. So there's like some options, key crystal and cave locations in Arkansas. So you can go to Berryville and some other places, Mount Ida, Crystal River Cave, Cave City, Crystal Vista, Mount Ida, Twin Creek. So the Twin Creek mine. This might, wow, this is amazing.
That's my end goal is to travel as much as I can while I'm on this earth. That is the end goal. There's too much to
Mm.
see now, especially nowadays.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Arkansas, Crystal Mine, Arkansas. That's something. A free public location to dig for quartz crystals.
Hmm.
So Arkansas is a spot that people can go to get free free
Wow.
crystals. There's
That's
no
pretty
such
generous.
thing. It's got to be some. Well, definitely going there. But that's amazing. That's definitely amazing, man. I have to admit the pictures are astonishing.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the caves filled with crystals, the whole only in Arkansas. And they're saying, yeah, crystals, gemologist. Yeah, gemologist. It's some really amazing stuff when you think about it. It's the fact that they have these gigantic. I didn't think crystals were that big.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, there was definitely yeah, the moon, yeah, it's crazy how they, yeah, it's like nobody talks about we're so zombie movie, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy with that. If I type it in, they don't even, yeah, they have wiped it. If I typed anything in with it not being real, wow.
I wonder if you look up Kubrick's filming of the moon landing. Maybe that'll give you something.
Yeah, maybe Kubrick. I'm just looking up the landing itself. It has some stuff, but fake or real. I mean, when I think about it, it's like, and AI is there, gatekeeping immediately.
Yeah. I
Like,
wonder for
hey,
how long. I wonder for how long until it starts to backfire. You know?
or like we spoke of on the other one, till it starts saying, it's going to do what it's going to do.
Right.
It might be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, that yeah, I mean, yeah, people get hurt with the landing. They get real hurt. I remember one guy was like, he he was hurt. He was like, "Oh nah, they went and all of this stuff." And I go, "Yeah, yeah." And I could see he was going through some mental stuff, man. He was going through some mental stuff. I was like, "Wow, this guy's is I mean, some people, even with the towers and stuff, people, I mean, people, they believed they believe deeply in the illusion. It's kind of like the Matrix, like when the guy came out and was ready to throw up on the floor, and he just couldn't take it at that point. It's sad, but it's true.
And I'm looking at the moon landing. I guess that, 'cause I couldn't remember the exact year, but it's 1969.
Uh-huh.
And do you think maybe it was related somewhat to the Vietnam War to bring the spirits up to the country? Maybe things were down, and they said, everybody's, not happy about this war that's going on, so we gotta keep the zombies a little more happier. Let's have a moon landing. Something the country could rally around or something.
I mean, something was very odd about that, because what was that, like 68, 69 or something?
The moon landing,
Yeah.
69. Yeah, 69.
Okay. So when we look back 20, say 22 years before, I think 47, a lot of stuff happened around 47, 48.
Hmm.
Between those 2 years, a lot of people were born and a lot of countries were formed in those 2 years. So there was a lot of stuff that happened. And then when 2 decades, we see the 60s, we're at around 67,
Hmm.
and then they're going, or 68 around there, because 48, yeah, to 68. It could be planned. I mean, it's a possibility. It's a
Yeah.
possibility.
Like they wanted to bring, they, I think they like to keep the country in a certain mood. They don't want it too far happy, too far sad. They kind of like to keep it right in the middle, a balance or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, yeah. Have people see the average person is not, they're just too zombified. They're
Hmm.
just too zombified to think in that direction, really too
Yeah,
far. And that's cool because we were all there before. In certain parts of the spectrum,
I agree.
yeah, we see that it's just like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And, I was telling my friend, I said, look, you couldn't really tell us when we were younger. We want to say, hey, if somebody would have came back and told us, I'm like, will we have listened to them?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And it's not that far-fetched because throughout history, we've had kings and queens in every culture, and they knew they had to control the society. Because one of the most important things, they didn't want them coming to the palace and going after the royalty or the nobility. So they had to control the masses. That's been the case throughout human history. Romans did it with bread and circus. They built the Colosseum, you know? So, yeah, I think this is a playbook that's been used since the beginning of civilization.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely a playbook type of story script type of thing.
Exactly. And I'm interested in what's on the moon. I'd love to know, so it's not that, I'd love to know that we could get to the moon and explore and they could reveal all the information. But if it's not there, it's not there.
You might summon Scribe to Thought Police because
Yeah.
he's always on the moon stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, me personally, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a round celestial body. I mean, maybe,
Well,
but
at Coral Castle, he has the moon, but inside it, he's saying there's water inside the moon. There's actually water flowing underneath the surface of the moon.
hmm,
Yeah. It's got some type of magnetism or something like that that affect that plays a role. I know with gravity as it gets closer, with the tides and so forth, but there's some type of magnetism in there also.
hmm,
Yeah. There's definitely people who have knowledge of this universe that is not taught to us, the common people. There's definitely that going on.
yeah, yeah. I've thought that. Yeah, thinking about. Hazel says, "I worked for the most experienced crystal miner." Wow. Yeah, I heard the caves. Sleeping in those caves has a healing. I think I'd be a little hesitant myself. But I have laid on the mat. This one lady had a mat of amethyst at this like this fair a couple years ago. Crystals do have something, I think.
Hmm.
Have you used them?
I've been around people who've used them. I don't know if they can store energy. I mean, maybe in the chat they could mention if that's possible. If they're energy, they could store energy or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
hold energy. That's another
Mm-hmm.
thing about crystals. They can be controlled, or I don't know.
Yeah, if Divine wants to come on,
Hmm.
I've heard on Gnosis. She's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's definitely used in a lot of spiritual aspects, crystals. And there is something to them.
Hmm.
But I'm by no means an expert.
Yeah. No, that's cool. She says she has an amethyst tourmaline. Oh, wow. Yeah. This lady had the, I think it was purple amethyst bed. It was cool. It was definitely cool. This was a few years ago. Wow. That is cool. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, the crystals, some of them have some effect. I'm not sure exactly what they all do, but why wouldn't it have an effect? Maybe. I think when I laid down on the lady's mat, she had a plug that plugged into something. So I think it did have electricity too.
Mm. Yeah, that's what I felt too one time. Well, our body, our mover, our motor functions are all electrical signals. So maybe that's where the healing process is. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was Nixon. He was saying nobody, American people don't believe something unless they see it on TV.
I don't. I wouldn't surprise you if you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got the quote.
I still remember that Nixon on the telephone. I actually have to look that up because that was hilarious.
I think YouTube's got the one where he came out saying he's not a crook. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm talking to you by phone from the Oval Office.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
I mean, they could do that today. They could say it's satellite communications, but I don't believe they had any satellites going on there. Or did they? No, they probably did, but
It's so crazy. It is so crazy. It's just like,
mhm. It's like they really think, well, actually, they can think it and they're actually right because nobody questions it. So by them playing golf or talking to the phone to the moon, it does make sense because they know their audience. They know the people are going to eat it up, So they're actually right when I mean, people that can see through it are few and far between. Most people are just going to buy it. So they turn it into a big joke and everybody agrees. Just like the passports in 9/11, everything, they couldn't find any parts of the plane or they disappeared, but they could easily find the passport, just intact.
mhm.
Yeah. Like they constantly want to throw something in there to insult our intelligence. But I don't know if it's really an insult or they're playing at our level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, think about the whole underwater thing too. Just common sense. It's like, okay, why don't we have the Earth 100% mapped? Because if somebody says, "Oh, well, underwater," it's like, all right, well, how about the land?
Yeah.
But it's easier to map the moon, right?
That's according to them.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
And nobody just thinks of that common sense thing.
No, no. Plus the fact they don't allow the archaeological expeditions to take place. They're restricting that information. I mean, we know there's something more because we found underground cities, like we had mentioned. You mentioned Göbekli Tepe in Turkey.
Mhm.
So there's something more than what we've been told, and there's something underneath also the pyramids that they won't let us look at either.
I think there's a researcher that's onto something over there.
Hmm. I've heard about storages like giant batteries. They said were in there to store electricity, energy.
They said something going down, downward, right?
Yeah, downward. I mean, a storage for electricity would make sense. I mean, there's no doubt they had electrical power, these ancient cultures. They didn't build it with some guy with a hammer and chisel. No way, no how. There was electrical power involved, lasers or anything, something.
Yeah, yeah. They definitely the hammer and chisel thing. Just looking at the pyramids alone, for them to bring up hammer chisel is just crazy.
Yeah.
And then to prevent people from searching further, the underwater stuff over there off the northern coast of Egypt, from what appears to be there's stuff there.
And they won't let people go down and look.
Yeah, let me see. Northern.
I know in the Red Sea, in one part of it, they did find what looked to be chariots, wheels of chariots underneath the Red Sea.
Yeah, they're saying that there's statues that seem to be 1,200 years due to earthquakes and tidal waves.
Mm.
So they have, this was found in 2000. So it's
Uh,
just,
and
that's like, yeah. What was
as a,
that?
as a reference, the Bible, I mean, there is some truth to that. There is some validity in looking into it further because it seems all evidence points to a great flood that did happen.
Hmm. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it talks about the Nephilim and they mated with humans and they created a race of men of renown, of great men. And that's pretty much as far as it goes. I don't know if the Book of Enoch has more details of it or not, but I haven't looked into that. But then they were men of renown, and this was prior to the flood. And
Hmm.
maybe there's a lot of evidence to support it. We see ancient structures buried underneath the water, deep within the ocean. I just go where the evidence leads. I don't have a bias one way or the other, but I'm going to go where the evidence leads.
Yeah, I don't see enough info. I got to look at some of the links, some more.
Mm.
In 2000, it was found, but yeah, it's underwater statues on Egypt's northern coast.
They have pictures of it?
It has like one or two from when they were pulling up a statue.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if the statue fell over. See, that's the thing. Belong to the sunken cities of Thonis, Heracleon, and Canopus.
Oh, I see it. I see it right here.
Yes, submerged.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it has yeah, it gets pretty deep. Yeah.
I mean, were these humans or were these the Nephilim? Were these like hybrid humans?
I wonder if these might have been actually artificial.
Hmm. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see them bringing them up. Wow, look at that. And they're underneath the ground. They're in the water. They were submerged.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. And they look to be worshipped, beings that were worshipped at that time.
Yeah.
But are they fully human? That's the question. And they're
I think
gigantic.
in some they said I think some used to be worshipped, I think.
Hmm. Off the coast of Alexandria. Yeah. Yeah. I even see the Egyptian, I guess it would be the hieroglyphs. A diver, sunken treasures found ancient Egypt heading to the British Museum. Oh, this one's going to the British Museum.
Yeah, the sunken cities. There's so much that is right there, but it's like where's the further research?
Hmm.
This is makes you wonder. It really, really makes you wonder. I'm looking at some of sunken cities, Egypt's lost worlds, Thonis Heracleon. Wow. Yeah, I just figured I'd go over some of that. So it's some amazing stuff, right? Right off the coast of Alexandria, I think it is.
Yeah, that's what I just looked up. That's what they said.
Mm-hmm.
These gigantic statues. But obviously, Egypt was lot. It spread out, where it's now covered in ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the flood happened. Well, I know the biblical story of the crossing that happened after the flood, of course. But yeah, there was definitely something going on. There's probably far more ancient structures that are hidden, though. I'm sure that's the case. Like the lost, Atlantis and so forth. But they claim, some claim they found evidence for that.
Plus, I think, like you were saying with the pyramids, there's a lot more underneath. Because I did hear some people talking about that, though.
Hmm.
Let me see. Underneath the pyramid, right?
Yes.
See if it has. I'm just going to put conspiracy just to see.
Sure.
Wow. It's making me type in the whole thing. Underneath, let me see, radio waves. That might be it. They got a guy from Rogan that's talking about it.
Hmm.
Jailhouse, what's up, brother? Oh man, said he's back. We were looking into the city beneath the pyramids of Giza. That's crazy, man. The chambers in Egypt's Great Pyramid concentrate radio waves. It's a story by Physics World. And then there's confirmation of the scan, pyramid's north face corridor. The pyramids, a lot of stuff did come out about them, I have to admit.
And why is the pyramid in the back of our dollar bill? What's the relationship there?
Yeah.
It's never been explained. But there is a big relationship there. There's a major one. What is it? Why would the founding fathers or whoever created the currency say we got to put the Egyptian pyramid on the back of our bill? I could see if we lived in Egypt, we were Egyptian, but if we're not Egyptian, we're America, why are we putting pyramids?
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to say it's a symbolizing strength and duration, still growing, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying it was designed. It's like that's designed. It's like that looks exactly like, 13 bricks. Come on, man.
Right. And then the Washington Monument, you got an obelisk. You have an obelisk in Central Park in New York. Pretty big
Oh,
one
and
there
then the
too.
eye.
Yeah. What was that? It's in the eye?
No, if you look at the back, it has the pyramid, but there's an eye above it.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. They
Yeah.
have that eye. What's that all about? And it's illuminated too. It's got light shining off of it. I mean, of all the things you could put on the of the dollar bill, why that?
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Hmm.
It's like, I'm looking at it like, yeah. 13 layers is like trying to say unfinished state. It's saying,
Hmm.
hmm.
I know it's missing the capstone, which is the last part of the pyramid.
This is crazy. It's always some type of symbolism thing.
It is. It is. It's like, are they waiting for someone to come? Like the day somebody comes to complete the pyramid, to complete the world. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very religious. And I don't mean in a biblical way, but some other type of religion, for sure. But it's definitely their religion.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I remember a while ago you did some good streams on the currencies and what you found inside those currencies. You know, the symbolism that was on there.
Looking at the thing, pyramid with the eye.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. I was passed through some place. What did you say?
The pyramid with the eye of God symbolize. So it has like, they're not trying to tie it into anything, but I mean, come on. Very similar.
Hmm. And that's the world's reserve currency. Everything is tied to the dollar. Well, the dollar really controls the world.
Yeah, this is worldwide.
And everybody's,
Yeah, it's connected somehow.
it is. The value of every country's currency is strictly tied to its value to the dollar. It has no value if it's independent of the dollar.
Yeah, they all have the glowing. You're right.
Yeah. Now, whose
Yeah,
eye
I'll
is
look
that?
this up. Yeah, this is some deep stuff.
Hmm. And it's definitely tied into Horus or the Egyptian eye. You know, you have the Egyptian eye, that one eye
Mhm.
symbol. There's
Yeah.
definitely a tie into that. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's like one.
Alrighty.
Yeah, man. Great speaking with you, man. Definitely. Yeah, I'll see what's up tonight, and yeah, we'll talk soon, bro.
Sounds good. Thanks, MB. Have a good
Man,
night.
thanks. Good night, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. Good night.